You've made the decision to get a new pet, but before you hastily buy a cat or dog you know nothing about, you do some research. You have multiple options when it comes to getting your new pet. Whether you choose to get one from a family or friend, find a stray alongside the road and take it in, you adopt or buy, each choice will have an effect on you. The purpose of our presentation is to encourage you to support the Adopt Don't Shop campaign. Approximately 6.5 million animals enter shelters nationwide each year, and 1.5 million are euthanized. For those of you interested in the exact numbers, that equates to 670,000 dogs and 860,000 cats being put to sleep. The HumaneSociety.org states, most animals are surrendered because of no fault to their own. Situations arise. Maybe the owner is moving and can no longer house a pet. Maybe the animal developed health conditions that the owner could no longer care for. Or sadly, maybe the owner decided a puppy or kitten was strictly what they wanted and that an adult pet was not for them. Regardless, adoption is important for these reasons. When you adopt a pet, you are not only saving the life of that animal, but others as well. You prevent that animal from being euthanized and shelter space opens for a new animal. This is important because the animal brought into the shelter may be a stray cat or dog that hasn't been fixed. Getting this animal off the streets provides them with a safer and healthier life, and in addition to minimizing overpopulation. Adoption not only benefits the animals, but you as well. When you adopt, you receive support and resources that aren't typical when you choose to buy. Shelters will often connect you with an established vet, provide you with resources regarding support groups, and give you countless information about caring for your new pet. Not only that, they will help you find the right pet for your family. Most shelters conduct a behavior analysis on each animal so that matches can easily be found. Also, adopted pets are likely already spayed and neutered and up to date on vaccinations. These costs are wrapped up into the adoption fee, but left for you to pay completely when you choose to buy. Lastly, the shelter is likely to continue reaching out to you to see how the animal has adjusted and to make sure everything is okay. You won't receive that kind of support when you buy a new puppy or kitten. You will be left to do the research on your own and may only be contacted within the first few weeks, if at all.
Adopting a dog from a shelter not only saves this dog's life, but it also stops the business of puppy mills. Puppy mill is a high-volume dog breeding facility that breeds these puppies in horrible conditions. 90% of the puppies that you see in places like stores in the mall or even online are actually puppies from puppy mills. Puppy mills are actually allowed to keep the puppies inside of small crates the entire time without even letting them out for a second. Mills care more about the money that they're making from these puppies instead of the actual health of all of the dogs there. Puppies need to stay with their mothers for at least 8 weeks to fully develop, and these puppies are taken away from their mothers at ages younger than that, and it can actually lead to certain health conditions for them. Also, because these puppies are kept in their cages the entire time they're kept at the puppy mills, it can actually lead to aggression problems as well. Even though these puppies are kept in horrible conditions, the mothers of the puppies are actually kept in worse conditions. The mother dogs are forced to constantly breed puppies with no checks to make sure that their health is intact. The mother dog never gets rest in between breeding periods, which is an essential for dogs to maintain healthy breeding habits. They're rarely given clean water and healthy food that they need in order to be healthy. Pet stores that sell puppy mill dogs are actually allowed to put out false claims that they're not selling puppy mill dogs. In addition to these false claims, they actually make promises that they're totally against cruel animal breeding when they actually are getting 90% of their puppies from animal puppy mills. For example, there's actually a store inside of the Edinburgh Mall that sells purebred puppies, and although they are cute and cuddly and just make you want to play with them, it is 100% better to actually adopt from a shelter instead of going into the store because it makes you want to buy them, and that gives business to puppy mills. A lot of pet stores will actually tell you that the puppy is AKC registered as well, which helps people feel better about where the puppy came from, but it actually really doesn't mean anything. Just because the puppy is AKC registered and the pet stores tell you that the breeders were licensed to breed these puppies does not mean that the health of these puppies is actually intact. Most shelters, on the other hand, actually work with veterinary clinics to make sure that the puppies that come in are healthy and cared for properly, and before they go out to their new homes, they have the veterinary clinic check them over again to make sure that there's no problems before they are put into their new homes. A lot of shelters have a hard time finding space for dogs that are coming in, as opposed to pet stores who will always have room for brand new puppies. More people could just ultimately agree to start adopting dogs from shelters instead of buying from pet stores and online, the harder time that puppy mills would actually have to stay open in business.
See that cute little dog in the pet store window? Chances are it came from a puppy mill, a breeding facility that forces caged, neglected, and often sick dogs to churn out puppy after puppy to be sold for profit. That's how nearly all pet stores work. Meanwhile, millions of wonderful, healthy pets end up in animal shelters because of divorce, money trouble, or simply not having a home. But with one simple choice, you can help, just by deciding to adopt instead of purchase your next pet. Animal shelters are full of amazing pets looking for a home. Mixed, pure breed, big or small, puppies to adults. You can find that faithful companion you've always wanted. A fluffy snuggler, your new hiking buddy, or even one that looks good in hats. When you adopt your new best friend, not only are you saving a life, you're taking a stand against puppy mills. Now imagine sharing the joy of adopting with your friends. Seeing the smart choice and impact you've made, they adopt their next pets and share with 5 of their friends who share with 5 more. Before long, thousands get involved. Pet stores stop selling dogs from puppy mills, and even more lives are saved. And all because you chose to adopt. Man's best friend deserves better. They deserve good care, safety, and love from a family of their own. And with your help, we can save them all. Visit bestfriends.org to learn more.
You have probably heard of the saying, adopt, don't shop. But what makes adopting more beneficial than shopping? Other than saving a life, adopting an animal is less expensive. There are a lot of costs that are put into the responsibility of owning an animal. These costs can include the initial outlay cost, medical costs, and the accessories to purchase to own an animal. However, adopting cuts the cost in many ways. One way is that the adoption fee is cheaper. At most shelters, dogs and puppies range from around $118 to almost $667, while cats and kittens cost ranges from $34 to $276. On the other hand, a purebred dog or an animal purchased from a breeder or the pet store can cost as much as $3,000. A second way of saving money with adoption is that the shelters provide the vaccinations for their animals. The animals get neutered, spayed, and microchipped as soon as they are brought into the shelter. However, if you chose to purchase an animal from the pet store or a breeder, these vaccinations are not included, so you would have to spend a few more $100s on their vaccinations for your animal. Not only are you using your money in a beneficial way to give an animal another chance, you are also giving support to the other animals that have not been adopted yet. The thought does not usually cross people's minds, but when you choose to adopt an animal, the money that is used for the adoption fee of your animal is used for the essential needs for those animals that are still at the shelter. These essential needs include the special toys, food, vaccination fees, and also maintenance around the shelter.
America is in a mental health crisis, especially this year with a looming pandemic and several months of quarantine. On top of an already stressful and eventful year, people are experiencing an increase in mental health related issues. Because of the quarantine and an influx of people seeking help, it's even harder to find and partake in therapy, especially when most therapies are doing Zoom therapies or online therapies. Many people find it really hard to connect with somebody unless they're face to face. So how are people combating this problem? Well, people are turning to their pets. During the summer of 2020 alone, shelters all across America saw an incredible increase of adoptions. The number of average adoptions per day pretty much doubled, and people were even waitlisted. Shelters were emptying fast, yet more and more people wanted to adopt, especially because a lot of people were looking for younger pets or puppies, kittens, etc., but several adopted older pets in hopes to give them their golden years.
So, how can a pet, without even meaning to, help someone's mental health? It's pretty simple. Pets provide companionship, and companionship is powerful. People feel less lonely when they have a pet to share their daily routine with. It is not uncommon for a pet to get attached to their owners. Most times, my pet follows me around the house. Dogs, in particular, are a good example of this. Unlike most pets, dogs require a lot of attention and daily exercise. Most dog owners tend to take their dogs on a walk, and in return, they are more likely to run into other dog owners. And this type of socialization is really, really beneficial for improving mental health, as well as just the general exercise. Pets have been found to lend a calm, soothing effect in owners that have anxieties. They've also been found to lower levels of PTSD, anxiety, and depression, and higher levels of life satisfaction and resilience. And this doesn't just include dogs and cats. I'm talking birds, lizards, and even smaller rodent pets lend these type of benefits. So if you're finding yourself really lonely and struggling with mental health issues, you might want to look into adopting a pet. Most times, that pet needs you just as much as you need them. So what can you take away from our presentation? Well, it's really quite simple. Adopt, don't shop. And what are these benefits again? Well, you could be saving one of the 1.5 million animals that are euthanized each year. And when you're saving an animal, you could be saving it from poor living conditions, like a puppy mill. When you adopt from a shelter, you're opening a spot for a new stray animal and giving it an opportunity to also be adopted. You're saving money, and on top of all of it, you could be improving your mental well-being. So if you're looking for an animal, call an animal shelter today. Don't go to a pet store. Don't look online for backyard breeders. Go to your local shelter, and I'm sure you will find the perfect companion for you. Thanks.